nothing else, I thank...
Can I ask a question? I need a scorecard to keep track here. Is
Sure.
there $100,000 allocated for 47th and Wyola for the crosswalk?
Yes, there is.
And what is the next quickest way we can try to move this forward? As a resident, what can we do to demonstrate to this board, once and for all, a solution is needed and needed quickly?
Well, I think what the board is suggesting tonight is that they support the proposal to create and construct an enhanced crossing at 47th and Wyola, and our staff will then take that request, if you will, desire to the Illinois Department of Transportation, which has to approve. Actually, first I guess it will be designed, but we have a basic design to work with from 9th and 47th, but we'll have to create specific design specifications for the crossing at 47th and Wyola. They have to be submitted to and approved by the Illinois Department of Transportation, as it is the owner of 47th. That process will be pursued following approval of the budget, and with the time frame, I don't know what the answer to that is with respect to IDOT. Maybe you can give us some process.
Based on our experience with the one at 47th and 9th, it took from design award to construction about a year.
And now, that could be impacted if we look at a different design, a mid-block crossing, red flashing light, don't know. But what we can tell you is that the board has suggested, the consensus of the board is to go forward with that improvement and a direction to our staff to take that to the next level, which is to put the design specs together and take it to IDOT.
And as a resident, how do we go about encouraging you to do something about the average speeds on 47th Street? Your own experts have come back and said that 85% of the vehicles on that road are speeding, which is simply unacceptable when you have so many pedestrians crossing. How, as a resident, how do I get that to move forward?
Well, I think, again, you've heard some conversation from the board suggesting we'd like to consider opportunities to look for resources to enhance our enforcement opportunity on 47th Street. We will discuss our resources in our budget process on the 12th and see if there is a way to dedicate additional resources to enforcement. Part of the issue is in enforcement, part of it is in education, and part of it is good driver responsibility. And to the extent that we can, we will attempt to educate and enforce so that the lowered speed is more effective than it currently is. Whether or not we can predict the success of our efforts, exactly what those will be and when they will be, and how successful they might be in encouraging better drivers. I hesitate to answer, to suggest, to propose.
Madam President, if I can also add to that, and that is as we go towards the workshop in March, as part of the information that we've already asked Chief Howell to put together and follow to the last workshop about enforcement activities that have been conducted to date. We just established a baseline for everybody on that, and then along with that, we've considered enhanced funding for policing service, and Chief Howell is also in the process of quantifying that. So if we say if we increase the part-time police officer program by, let's say, $25,000, what does that mean? Well, that could mean something like 3 days of 7-hour traffic enforcement on 47th Street a week, something like that. So that there's, again, we're trying to quantify what that means so we could help everybody's expectations. And that's what we've been working on since the initial workshop from a couple weeks ago.
Great. Does that help answer the question?
It's a start.
Okay. Unless there's anything further, again, I thank our staff, our board, and all participants for your assistance, your engagement, thoughtful considerations, and we'll look forward to continuing our budget discussion on the call. Thank you, one and all.